Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Chia here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a new story. The name of the story is What If Naruto, The Forsaken Legacy, and yeah guys, it is an unscripted story. Now before continuing this, shout out is due where it is due. Shout out to my boy, Technoblade Never Dies. It's Technoblade's fans account and yeah, rest in peace to him. Anyways, moving onwards, this is a neglected story as well, so stay tuned for that, and no ship as well. Anyways, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel, and yeah, join my Discord server if you haven't. You will be able to find it in the about section of my channel. Anyways, enough said. Without any further ado, let's begin with our today's story. Roll the intro. Our story begins on October 10th in Konoha, Sato. It was nighttime and everything was going peaceful as ever until, suddenly out of nowhere, Kyubi no Yoko, the strongest Biju, began to materialize and form its gigantic form of a fox with 9 tails. As it roared, shaking the very foundation of the earth and the village, the shinobis rushed forward to the outer skirts to protect and stop the Biju in its tracks from destroying their home, but to this point they were failing. It has already been half an hour since the attack has begun, and the Biju was slowly advancing towards the village walls, as the charge has been taken by an old man named Hiruzen Sarutobi, who has survived more than 70 years in a profession where men die young, and has been the previous Hokage as well, as he was trying his best to guide his shinobi and men and women to stop the Biju in its tracks, but so far they were failing, and many of the shinobis and konoichis have already perished trying to stop the Biju, as he had a huge grit and scowl on his face. Damn it, where is Minato when you need him? And instantly, as he said these words, there was a bright yellow flash as both Minato and Kushina arrived there, each carrying a child in their arms. As Hiruzen then said, Kakashi, Hiyashi and the others, take the charge and command the shinobis and your clans. I'll be going to Minato and Kushina, they have arrived. Okay, Hokage-sama. As now we see, Hiruzen arrived on the other side of the battlefield, where they seemed to be preparing an altar as they placed both of their kids there. What the hell do you think you are doing? What happened? I thought everything was under control. No time to explain, Hiruzen-sama. We have to deal with this matter, first and foremost. That I can see, but how? Don't tell me that. This is the only way, Gigi, said Kushina. There is no other way aside from this. I see, said Hiruzen with great respect for both the girl and the boy he has watched grown up into the fine men and women that they were now. They were willing to sacrifice themselves and even their kids. As they were preparing to draw the seal, suddenly the Kyubi looked towards them and roared, No! You think I would allow myself to be sealed once more? You have mistaken, sadly Kushina, as it began to charge a Bijudama and was about to attack them, until Naruto's eyes opened, and there was a green hue in them, in his blue irises, as Hiruzen was the one who was witnessing this, as suddenly huge barrage of tree branches grew from the other sides in the form of a circle where Naruto was, as all these veins in front of everyone grabbed the Biju and even began to thrash him from side to side, so much that within few seconds the Biju was now limp and was knocked out cold, and everyone was just shocked. There was deafening silence everywhere. What the hell just happened? The Biju that was literally demolishing them was just put out of its misery like that. As before anything could happen, we see Minato and Kushina who were shocked, as they were looking at Naruto because they could sense the chakra coming from him, and so could Hiruzen. Now is not the time. You have to seal the Kyubi in both of them. No, we are gonna go with Mito. As instantly we see that the 10th pentagram seal was prepared, a seal that was the elder form of Kushina's seal, as the Kyubi was transferred to Mito completely. As after that we see the Kyubi was gone, but the tree branches forever remained there. As we see, Minato and Kushina then picked up Mito, but were cautious while looking at Naruto, whose eyes were still open. But instead of crying in such matter as Mito was, he was just looking at them, his arms reaching out to them. But so far nothing was happening. The parents were terrified. As after that we see Hiruzen then said, Kushina, go on. He wants to. I think Minato should. As Minato then reluctantly went and picked him up. After that, There was a lot of cheering everywhere. The QB has been defeated! The Hokage-sama and his family defeated the QB! As everyone began to cheer. Unbeknownst to them, the said man and woman alongside Hiruzen Sarutobi were not cheering at all. And that is when Anbu arrived, calling for a council meeting urgently because of what has happened. As now we see, the three of them shaken up has arrived there, as both of the kids were placed in a basket near one another, while the parents sat down. As Danzo stood up, I guess this meeting is in session. We have been waiting for you, Minato, to begin this meeting since you have arrived. Oh, sorry about that. Is everything alright, Minato? You look out of it, said Inuichi. Yeah. How did those tree branches appear, Hiruzen? I would like to ask this question to you. I believe you were quite nearby. Since Minato and Kushina are quite in deep shock, I believe. I believe it was, well, Naruto, said Hiruzen, pointing towards the kid, as everyone was shocked. What? Yes, Naruto might have the ability of the, well, Mokitan. As everyone was shocked, only one way to find out then, said Danzo, as he threw a kunai at Naruto, but instead of happening anything, Danzo watched as the kunai was stopped midair and fell down to the ground, as it was an invisible force that stopped it. And not only that, suddenly from the ground beneath him, a tree branch appeared in the form of a spear and pierced straight through his chest, causing everyone to scream, mainly the civilians, while the rest of the shinobis were shocked. As they watched, Naruto's fist was rising as his eyes had green hue in them. As his fist closed, Danzo exploded as a huge tree was formed in his place, covered in blood, as everyone was shocked. That power, that is not a blessing, it's a curse. And after that we seen that person who was scared of him made Naruto sad, and that is when another death happened. And after that we see Kushina then said, Naruto, stop, please, as Naruto chuckled and listened to his mother and went back to sleep. Kushina and Minato were now both terrified. Their son, he was blessed by the abilities of the first Hokage, but his powers, they were too much dangerous. They had to do something about it, and that is how abruptly the council meeting came to an end. The villagers, everyone was now aware of the powers that the kid held, and they knew that the kid killed two of these shinobis. But they didn't blame him, because they knew that one scared the kid and one tried to attack him. It was as if the nature was protecting the boy. One of them even claimed, but the people were already scared and terrified of getting even close to him, because even if they tried to do something good and it turns out bad for him, like he cries or something or get mad, they might be the next victim of his powers. So they made a rule amongst themselves that they will distance themselves and their kids from this child with this monstrous power, which they dubbed as the curse of nature. As after that we see time begin to pass by, and Naruto has reached at the age of 6. As currently we see him watching from his room, which was upstairs and the only room alone there, down at the backyard of his home where his sister Mito was trading with both of his parents as they were spending a time like family. As Naruto's eyes were nothing more than cold hues. He has gotten used to it by the time now. The first time he realized that he was being treated differently was at the age of 4. Since he was a quiet kid, it was not that hard to understand. And now, at the age of 6, he could clearly see that they had double standards. Even his own parents and village, they were scared of him. As Naruto then watched them going downstairs, entering, and they were chuckling to themselves as Naruto went downstairs, as the family froze for a moment. Naruto, how have you been today? Said Minato. I've been fine. How is the training going on? As Minato flinched, knowing fully well what Naruto was saying. It's going great, Naruto, said Mito, who was initially scared of Naruto as well. As Kushina then said, we are eating ramen. Again? Please, can we eat something else? Said Naruto, as instantly his whole family flinched, causing Naruto to, well, back down. Forget it, I'm not hungry anymore. Enjoy your lunch. As after that Naruto went upstairs. And soon the time began to pass even more. Naruto was enrolled into the academy. Well, more like he enrolled himself When the village denied him the first time, he wanted to know why. And as the villagers saw that his rage was rising, they just let him enter. Because, well, even if he was a monster, they all thought that they could put him to good use against the other nations and set out a warning. As now we see, years begin to pass and finally Naruto reached at the age of 13, the age of graduating year. As the whole class was, well, violent as ever, as Iruka entered, and that is when we see Naruto entering behind him. As pin drop silence was formed, even the, well, lone survivor Uchiha Sasuke was scared of his presence, because he has seen firsthand how Mizuki Sensei was killed. Turned out Mizuki Sensei tried to kill Naruto or attack him, even in front of his own father gallantly, and turns out Naruto didn't take that lightly, and used a fist formed out of tree branches to crush him literally into nothing more than a pulp, as everyone was from then on scared of his powers beyond, and Naruto had this smirk on his face when he did so. After that, there was no spars allowed to happen with Naruto, because, well, instantly it would have been that. Or even if they were pitted against Naruto, they would just outright decline. And Naruto, he has detached himself from the village to the point that he didn't care about them anymore, or how they looked at him or talked behind his back. As now we see Naruto went and sat down right next to Sasuke, as Sasuke who was scared, was inching away from him, as Naruto then said, "You don't have to be afraid, Uchiha. I'm not gonna eat you alive or anything. Just don't cause a headache to me. That's the only thing I ask." As after that, instantly talking about headache, Sakura, Haruno, and Ino Yamanaka came into view, as both of them marched in and they saw Naruto and instantly went quiet, as Naruto was looking at them with a glare. As now we see Iruka said, "Now that everyone is here, first of all I would like to congratulate Naruto for graduating. You have been put into reserves, Naruto, because you are the only odd one out." "Odd one out? What do you mean in reserves, Sensei?" "You will be taken in as an apprentice by an Anbu," and suddenly there was a brick thrown at the window, and in came Anko Mitarashi, as Naruto raised an eyebrow. "Her? Yeah, you got a problem with me, kid? So, since you graduated and all, why don't we conduct your test to see if you are fitted to be Genin or not?" "Anko, that was supposed to be a secret." "Oh well, a big oopsie happened. Anyways, they were going to find out one way or another." And suddenly their sensei all sunshine there, as Kurenai was mad. "Anko, please be responsible." "Jeez, Kurenai-chan, stop it. Enough. What is this test?" said Naruto, as all of the other shinobis looked at him. He suddenly had a presence of that of a Kage, or similar to them in power level, and they didn't want to do anything with that. Instead of Guy, who was obviously a freak of nature. "Oh my god, Kakashi, why are you not picking the student? If I could, I would." "What do you mean?" "You might be... I remember you. I have seen you. You're that weird guy who is all about taijutsu, right?" "Correct, young Naruto. My name is Might Guy, and I already have an apprentice, Rock Lee, so I'm sorry. My hands are already full." "Yeah, no worries. But I would be happy if you gave me some pointers on taijutsu. I mean, that is my weak point in a close-range combat." You got it," said Guy as he gave him his smirk, and then dashed away, as everyone was now more terrified. Guy training Naruto? Well, that could be disastrous. Well, they'll be happy to find out that soon. As after that, Anko then said, "Hey, you're my student. Why are you asking the others?" "I can't believe I got such an immature sensei. I better go and talk to Hokage about this," said Naruto. And everyone was quite shocked by this. Even Mito was, who has been, well, for the time being, nothing more than quiet, and have grown distant to her brother to the point where she knew almost next to nothing about him except for his name, that he lived on the upper stairs, and that is a place where she never visited, not her whole life, because her parents were afraid of him, and so was she. As the Cuban then spoke, "That kid is a monster, and coming from me, who tried to destroy it and is called a demon, you have to, well, admit it. Even I do. That kid can't control his power and rage. His powers are fueled by them. This Kakegenkai of his, it's one of a kind, I admit it, but it's just way too much for this world." "Shut up, Fox. I can change him. You can change him. You saw how he looked at all, like nothing more than insects. He's not a human. If anything, he's a monster, or already considered himself to be, above all. How do you know? Because us powerful beings, we do tend to consider that. And last time I checked, he might be the most powerful man walking on this planet, even stronger than us Bijus. Because when he was an infant kid, while you were nothing more than a crying baby who was wasting in her diapers, she literally defeated my ass. Said the QB with a chuckle, as now Mita was really afraid. All the thoughts that she wanted to rekindle with her brother were now out of her mind. She'd rather keep her distance, as everyone else, and her parents. As now we see Naruto arrive in the Hokage office. What is it, Naruto? You don't have to be afraid. I'm not gonna eat you alive or anything. You're the Hokage, for God's sake, Dad. Yes, Naruto. What is it, son? Nothing. It's a waste of time anyways. As after that we see Naruto went back to Anko and grabbed her and went to do her, apprenticeship. As things were going great for a few months, and Naruto was given his first C-rank mission, which was to help out Team 7, which turns out to be the team under Kakashi Hatake and was a team of his sister, alongside with another Konoichi named Sakura, who he was, quite acquainted with alongside with Sasuke Uchiha. As we see both of them arrive there instantly because of Naruto's tree teleportation. As Naruto arrived there, he saw that Zabuza was about to attack Mito. You think I'll let you? As a huge barrage of tree arrived from the ground and slammed him to the side of another tree and tied him there tightly. As huge amount of senbons were then fired, which were blocked by a wooden wall, which turned into spikes later on and fired on their own splinters. As Naruto then walked in front of Zabuza. Who are you, kid? As Zabuza's all danger instincts were running high, telling him to get away from this monster. Who are you? I'm someone that you have messed with, and I'm gonna make you pay for that. As Naruto literally grabbed the skin of his hand from the wrist side and literally shredded it all across his body, earning huge screams and agonizing pain from the man. And surprisingly enough, only the skin was peeled off, as Naruto's nail, which was covered with wooden spikes, were now turned back to normal, as everyone was terrified. Oh, how could he do that without even flinching? As Naruto went, his hand still covered in blood, and wiped it across a tree branch, who then dragged out Haku, who was scared of his life. As Naruto then said, "Run." As instantly Haku, who was filled with fear, began to dash away, because this person was able to kill Zabuza, the only strongest person he was ever acquainted with, and he never looked back. As Naruto got up and then turned towards everyone, who was scared. As Naruto went and tried to grab Mito, who then said, "Don't touch me," as she literally crawled away. Well, Naruto said, getting up, and it was already too late for Mito to realize what she has just done. I guess my job here is done, Sensei. They can handle the rest. And that is when a clapping sound was heard. Well. Look what we have. Before he could finish, huge amount of spikes rose from the ground. I was talking, said Naruto, and instantly killed all of his mans through impaling from the bottom and rising from the top spikes. And the man's arm and feet were both impaled, as well as he was screaming, "Shut up!" as a huge spike rose from behind his skull and pierced straight throughout his mouth, killing him as well, as they were all frozen there like statue. But by the immense power that Naruto did, without even lifting a single finger. As Naruto then said, "Is that more than enough? I'm leaving if I'm done here." As after that, Naruto began to walk away towards a tree. "You coming or what, Sensei?" As Anko nodded and gulped before dashing towards Naruto. As both of them returned home, we see Anko then said, "How about we go and grab some dongos, kid?" Dongos? Why would I want that? Come on. You know, as a teacher, I'm proud of you. You didn't even flinch while killing them. As Naruto then said, I guess it's fine then. As Anko and Naruto from then on went out like this, Anko began to treat Naruto as a little brother, and Naruto was happy finally to have someone in his life who he could get close to. And the people began to fear, because Anko was an outcast, and the worst was still to come for them in the future. You see, the Chunin exams arrived soon after that, and both Anko and Naruto got busy in it. The first part of the exams went as in canon, where they just tried to intimidate Naruto, but only for Naruto to release his full power, causing all of them to literally face fall towards the ground. Even Orochimaru, who couldn't get up, and that is when he realized who his target was going to be. As now we see the second part arrived, Naruto was happy to see his sensei, who wished him good luck. As this was going on, Naruto was already able to grab the second scroll within 10 seconds, as he was now dashing towards the middle of the tower in the forest. We see him hearing some screams, as he instantly arrived there, kicking Orochimaru's neck away from Sasuke, who he was aiming for. "Run," said Naruto, as the three of them instantly were shocked. "I told you to run!" As instantly the three of them begin to dash away. As that is when we see Orochimaru then chuckled and got up. "Well, oh well, Naruto, Uzumaki, Orochimaru, I knew you were here from the beginning, and that is why I let out my full power to warn you. But it seems that you didn't understand what I meant to say." "Oh, I did. It was my time to lure you here." As that is when we see, one by one, the soundings begin to come out from everywhere, and even Kabuto did, who tried to impale Naruto, as Naruto was now somewhat intoxicated. "What the hell did you do?" "It is an agent that makes you drowsy, nothing else. Makes it easier for my master to, well, make you into his vessel. Oh, and by the way, Naruto, a gift for you," as the dead body was thrown in front of him. Probably the worst mistake Orochimaru did. It was to rile Naruto up so that he could be broken before he does this. It was sort of a petty revenge on Naruto because of what he has done to him in the beginning of these exams. But that was his biggest mistake, because at that time, Naruto's whole chakra was released, as he was visibly covered in purple chakra. Cracks formed on the ground as huge amount of nature that was surrounding the forest began to move at his command. As now Orochimaru and everyone else realized, he wasn't boxed in. They were the ones who were boxed in with him. As Naruto began to attack everyone, his eyes completely glowing green, as Orochimaru tried to escape, but so far nothing happened. Wherever he went, everywhere wooden spikes would appear, and soon he was impaled to the point where he couldn't move, as Naruto took some spikes and began to throw at him, causing huge hisses to come out of him. "I want you to scream." As after that we see Orochimaru even felt fear for the first time and began to scream. What kind of monster was he dealing with here? What kind of power was that? And that is when we see another person arrived in a puff of smoke. "Calm down, kid," said a silver-haired figure, as Naruto then looked at him. "How dare you say that to me?" As with a single gust of pressure released by Naruto, he was thrown far away, only for him to get back up and dash towards Naruto. "Sorry, kid." As Naruto, who was too engulfed in torturing Orochimaru near death, was then knocked out cold, and by none other than his own mother, who was standing there with a terrified expression, as she had a broken branch that she was holding. As Naruto then tapped his back forehead and looked down to see it was covered in blood before he passed out. As after that we see him waking up, tied in chains, as he was seated inside a room, an interrogation room. In front of him was Hibiki Morino. "Kid, Hibiki-san, what happened? Why am I like this? You went out of control, kid." "What?" "Yes. What about Uncle? Sensei, is she?" "She's dead, kid. Turns out Orochimaru killed her." "Where is that bastard?" said Naruto. "He's dealt with, to the point where, well, we don't think that he's sane anymore." "When was he, that bastard?" "Well, I gotta admit that, but he's now, well, see for yourself." As Orochimaru was in a straitjacket, well, completely bandaged up, in fear of Naruto. Whoever whispered even Naruto to him would cause a reaction that he would scream and crawl away to the corner. A legendary Sanin, and dangerous one at that, reduced to that. Even Ibiki was scared. "Your powers are terrifying, Naruto. Everyone in the village is afraid of you. Even if you caught a huge criminal, they are still afraid, thinking that if you let go of emotions like that, then... So what am I to do? Nobody trained me to control them." "What about Uncle, please?" "Is she really?" "Yes. She has been already buried on the outskirts of the village." "What? Why there and not in the Shinobi cemetery, like other Konoichis and Shinobis do when they are fallen? Listen, Naruto, I tried to convince them, but what do you mean you tried? And that is when Naruto's rage began to boil to the point that seals that were placed on him began to glow and exploded. As Naruto then got up and began to stomp his way towards the council chamber. As he was about to get in, Naruto heard, "What are we gonna do with him? That kid is a monster, Hokage-sama. We cannot deny that. We're afraid of him. Don't you think that so are we? We've tried to isolate him for all his life so that maybe that this will not cause us and everyone else harm, but so far it has done nothing. So what do you suggest, Kushina?" Said Tizumi. "Because you're the mother. Minato is out of ideas and so are we. I say we banish him." As Naruto then, with all his rage, bursted the door and turning it into splinters, entered inside. "You banish me? Fuck you and all that. Naruto, listen. It's for..." "Shut up, old man. You want to banish me after what I did for this village? Here. I'm going to let go of this village. Screw you and your pathetic village. But remember this. In the future, if you ever need my help, you, even if came crawling to me, I wouldn't give it to you. No matter you die or not. So much for the Uzumakis never leave one of their own behind. Naruto, it is for your own sake. You are dangerous for the village. You are scared of because your own belief. Have you ever tried to understand me? Or know how it feels to be alone? I knew about that since I was fucking 4. Kushina. But how would you understand? You were just doing delusion in your own mindset that you are going to be a greatest mother and all that. And you forgot that you had one son as well. Son, please. I'm not your son, Minato. Never was. If I had been, you wouldn't have treated me like this. And as for the banishment, make it official. I won't set a foot in Konoha Gakure ever again in my whole life. With these words said, Naruto instantly disappeared and never was heard after that. Soon after that, the Akatsuki appeared and began to do their job, and years began to pass by. And that is when Mito got caught, they realized their mistake because they were now in a pickle. And Akatsuki has declared war on them as well, causing them to go in a hussy fit as they begin to search high and low for shinobis and help from their even allies. Turns out there was a figure who was saving them all, a figure they were all too familiar with. He has killed many of the Akatsuki, and even the Akatsuki were afraid of him, and some of the Kages who were allied to him and were friends to him talked highly of him. As now we see, Minato didn't want to admit, but he had to ask for his help, as he went to the Kage summit, which he called, as everyone was there, even the Hokage and the other Kages. Why have you called for this Kage summit, Minato? Weren't you in the midst of war against the Akatsuki? So were you all. But I believe someone helped you. That someone was your, son, whom you banished, said Gaara, who was the newly appointed Kazekage, similar to Naruto's age. As this was a salt rubbed on the wound of Minato. Yes, I would like to know his whereabouts. And why would we tell you that? Said Oniki. What do you mean, Oniki-san? I thought that you hated me. I hate you, not your children. Don't get me wrong, even if you have killed mine, but I highly and strongly believe that only those who have done wrong to us should be punished, not their family or any relatives who are innocent. Unlike you. As Aiden said, correct. And what makes you think that we will tell you about our savior? Not only did he save my life, but my brother's as well, and our other Jinchuriki Yujitos. And even taught some of our next generation as well. Really? He did the same for us as well, and even opened a foundation for the kids. From the money he earned from his bounties about the orphanages and all that. Yeah, he's quite a charitable person and a nice person as well once you get to know him. Such a bummer and sad thing that his own family and village didn't saw him as such. Never tried to understand him. What? Yes. Naruto is one of the kindest persons that we have met, and not only that, probably the strongest one as well. And the Akatsuki is targeting you because they know that Naruto has vowed that he would never set foot there, and he could care less anything happens to you. Which is correct. Said a masked person who arrived there. As he then dropped, still somewhat cautious Mito there. Dad, Mito! As he went and picked her up. What did you do to her? I only took the biju away. Call this the courtesy of her brother and his fear. Because if it wasn't for him, or him being alive, we would have done much worse. As soon as he said these words, 8 branches appeared from the ground, grabbing him and literally ripping him apart into 5 pieces, as his both legs and arms were ripped apart, and only his head, which was attached to his now thump of a body, fell down to the ground as he was in deep agony, as a huge tree grew from within his stomach, as Naruto arrived and literally smashed his face with a foot placed in it. And you dared to do that? You have the audacity. Naruto, you're back, said Yushito. Hey Yushito-chan, everyone, I am back. What are they doing here? They called for a meeting, thinking that we might, tell them your whereabouts. Jeez, Waniki Gigi, I told you not to do that. Well, kid, I didn't tell them anything, to be more precise. Yeah, neither did we. Well, what do you want? I made quite specific when I left all those years ago that I was never coming back. We need your help. And I told you even if you crawled to me, I wouldn't give it to you. Did I not? What makes you think that I would do now? Please. Konoha is going to destroy. Then let it be for all I care. It was a village that you were born in, Naruto. How could they do that to me? When I asked this question, you didn't say anything. So? Yeah, no comment. And with these words said, Naruto began to chat with Gaara as Minato's frustration grew. At least pay my debt. I brought you into this world. Oh, how could you, Minato? Said Mei Terumi as she heard these words, and everyone looked at him with disgust. Pay your debt? I made sure that Orochimaru was captured. I made sure that your pathetic village would survive a Konoha crush. I made sure that you were not targeted by your enemies for those years that I spent like hell in that isolation cell of mine that you call your village. And even got revenge for your pathetic daughter who couldn't even, after all the training, defend herself. And you have the audacity to say such things to me, Minato. As Minato, with each word, was crawling back. Leave. Or otherwise I won't be able to show any more mercy and would do something that I would regret. What do you mean? Dirtying my clothes with your blood, Minato. And with these words said, Naruto disappeared. It was nice meeting you all. Especially you all, except for Konoha. And after that, Konoha, who has already slammed themselves down to the point where no one was ready to ally with them now, and help them out in this Kage summit if Naruto wasn't ready, was now all on its own. And the Akatsuki did attack, and with a single jutsu of pain, the whole Konoha was turned into nothing more than dust. Many of the people dying, those who were survived, were able to take on, Nagato, and they too perished. Some of them did. Only Minato, Kushina, and a few of the other clan heirs and their families were able to survive. Mito even died as well, because of the attack, sacrificing her life to save her mother. As for the others, they were just devastated. They lost everything in an instant, all because they thought that they were doing something right by banishing Naruto, who has become a hero and the strongest shinobi of the whole elemental nation, to the point where not even the Akatsuki wants to fuck with him. And they knew that by targeting this village, they might get an emotion out of him, causing him to lose control, and they could manipulate him, but nothing happened. If anything else, they soon heard the news after the village destruction, and when they were now nothing more than nomads, that one by one each Akatsuki member was hunted down and killed in the most brutalist way. But it was for Naruto achieving his own bounties. And after 10 more years, we see an old Minato Namikaze living in the Sun Country, all by himself with his wife, who was also old, as he has bought a bingo book, which he opened, and the first entry was none other than Naruto himself. Naruto. And his title was none other than the Forsaken Legendary Legacy. And it was another salt rubbed on Minato's wound, because to this day he regretted doing that to Naruto. But he knew no matter how much he repent, there was no forgiveness this time around. And same could be said for Kushina. And they always knew if they had treated Naruto rightly, they might still had a chance in saving their daughter and defeating the Akatsuki, and still would have been in their village, living a privileged and happy life, not living in this dump as they were now. And as for Naruto, he was on another level of his life, the most powerful man walking on the Shinobi world and Earth, or even in the whole solar system, who knew? As this is where I'm going to be leaving this story off, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel, as this is Apollo Chiha, and I'm signing off for the day. Peace!